Our topic is leveraging Magento key features for e-commerce flexibility. And joining me on the webinar today is Blair Petula, our technical sales engineer here at eBridge Connections. The goal of today's webinar is to educate our audience about several key features of the Magento platform and how they can be integrated with accounting systems for increased business efficiency. Please note that today's webinar will be recorded and posted on the eBridgeConnections.com website and also our YouTube channel for additional viewing at your leisure. Moving on to today's agenda, first of all, I would like to provide you with a brief introduction to eBridge Connections. I'll then pass it off to Blair, who will outline the eBridge integration process and provide detail on some of Magento's key features and how they can be leveraged for greater e-commerce flexibility. Lastly, we'll end the webinar with an open Q&A, so please feel free to submit your questions throughout the presentation, and we'll take some time at the end to answer those questions as best as possible. So we'll start with a quick overview on eBridge. eBridge Connections has over 20 years experience in the accounting software integration industry. We were founded in 1993 by our current CEO, Colin Brown, and are based in Burlington, Ontario. eBridge specializes in providing integration solutions for small to medium-sized businesses. Our universal integration platform supports 40 accounting systems, and we have built connections for 20-plus e-commerce platforms, over 1,000 EDI trading partners, and the world's leading CRM applications. eBridge integration solutions connect and automate vital business processes so that companies can focus on what they do best. Moving on, I want to quickly mention some of the key advantages of an eBridge integration solution. First of all, we build, maintain, and support our own solutions. We don't rely on any third-party software. On its own, our platform has the ability to easily integrate hundreds of different connections. Connectivity, data translation, and compliance are all handled in the cloud, and no additional hardware or software is required. Furthermore, included in all eBridge service plans are new adapters for accounting system upgrades, and there are no per document transferred fees. It's a fixed annual price. Most importantly, an end-to-end eBridge integration solution will allow you to eliminate manual data entry and create seamless data flows between systems, both of which will help you reduce costs and allow you to focus on building your business. I'm now going to pass off the presentation to Blair, who's going to describe our Magento integration process and then walk you through some of the key features of Magento that can give you the e-commerce flexibility that you desire.
All right, thanks, Matt. And like Matt was saying, we're going to go through our integration. So kind of the where, why, when, how, what, who, all ending at the actual solution, how things are going to work. At a very high level, we're not going to get too detailed. We don't have a ton of time to go through things. If you want any more detail, of course, you could always reach out to one of our salespeople. They can work with you on determining your actual needs, what they may be, what your ERP is, how we're going to connect, any special requirements. But this will give you a good understanding of exactly what we do and how we offer it. So I'm going to start kind of at the beginning. Our architecture is set up similar to this. Again, at the very high level, we're looking at an e-commerce integration. So today we're going to focus on Magento. We also have EDI documents that can be integrated, and that spans all different trading partners that you may be dealing with right now. So we can bring those in and post them to your ERP. CRM as well, so Salesforce, Dynamics CRM are a couple that we do deal with. And really what we want to focus on is bringing those documents, whether it be e-commerce, EDI, or CRM documents, and bring them into our e-portal, which is really the hub or the middle where between the ERP and your particular integration. So the e-portal really transforms those documents. We standardize everything to a standard XML, and then we push things off into your ERP, and then vice versa. And we'll get into that in just a second. So we talk a lot here at eBridge about touch points, and really what touch points are at the very simplest rudimentary level are simply pushing data and pulling data from your accounting system. So if we're going to look at our four most basic or popular touch points, We have sales orders. Of course, if you have a Magento store, you're going to want to pull in all your sales orders and post it to your accounting system. And really, if you're looking at 30 to 100 orders a day, we do have some clients that are doing over Black Friday 1,000 orders a day. And, bringing all those orders in and automating that process can save you a ton of time, and costly mistakes are basically eliminated because nobody's typing in this information. We're actually posting that on the fly, allowing you to free up other resources and really focus on actually delivering the product instead of typing it into your ERP. On the reverse side, we're looking at 3 different touch points. And of course, there's many more touch points, but these are the 4 most important or basic ones with a Magento store. Inventory, going back to your Magento store, so making sure that everything's synced up between your ERP. So even if you have a manual process where you're taking phone or fax orders and inventory is being decremented at that point, we can still update your Magento store with that updated inventory information, even through a manual process. Product updates, so if you are dealing with a lot of on-the-fly product creation, bringing new products, amending products, we can definitely help you with that. And then really the turnkey solution of actually updating your customer once the product is invoiced and shipped, and getting that shipment update up to your Magento store becomes vitally important. So to break it down a bit further, we have the sales orders, which will just happen just like they do today. There's no change, there's no modules added to Magento or actually your ERP. Everything is standard. We work outside both systems, so doing upgrades or making modifications really doesn't affect our integration. The orders will come in per usual as they are today. Our portal will pick up those orders and then send them down to your ERP. If the customer does not exist in your ERP, we can create that customer on the fly. And then, of course, your regular, after the sales order is posted, your regular process will basically take over from there. So if you're invoicing, if the sales order is the last step and you ship after that, then so be it. We adhere to all the basically coding standards and functionality that the ERP offers. So whatever you're doing today will remain intact. If there's price checking or overrides or promotions, or some customers get certain price levels, that all remains intact. For inventory, basically we're looking at bringing the information directly from your ERP and then pushing it up to the portal, and then on a timed or scheduled basis, basically updating Magento with those updated inventory numbers. So like I said before, if you're doing phone or fax orders or you have a retail location, we can sync up your inventory across your Magento store and your ERP, so that if somebody tries to order something off the Magento store and it wasn't available or taken off the shelf, it will be updated for those customers. On the product update, or what we call our ProDat, again, if you're changing multiple SKUs or adding SKUs or UPCs or amending descriptions or just generally adding products every day for whatever reason, we'd be able to push that information up. So really syncing that information across the platforms, just like inventory, is a huge advantage where you can have that one master file, which is your ERP. You don't have to worry about going into your Magento store, updating the information, deleting information. You can do everything in one spot. You're probably doing that already today. The big advantage is that we will basically push that data up for you. And then rounding it all off, the shipment update. So with Magento, you can do multiple tracking numbers. That functionality remains intact. You can split your orders via a shipment for your customers. That can be done for them, so they want to ship it to two different addresses. That all remains intact. We can deal with that. But as for the shipping, when you invoice or you have a third party or you have a warehouse that needs to ship out, as long as that information is in your ERP, we can post that data up to the Magento store. Your customer gets an email basically telling them the order shipped, here's the tracking number, filling that end result for that customer, and really closing the loop for that order and making sure that the customer is informed and gets the product as soon as they can. So with Magento, whether it be community or enterprise, we basically support both, or Magento Go as well for customers that are using that. These are really the key features and how we leverage those features, because Magento is kind of unique in the space where they actually have some unique functionality that some other cards do not. And we'll try to focus on some of those right now. So one of the big things with Magento is its configurable product section. So you can have something very simple like a one-to-one relationship via SKU. So you're selling a bar of soap, let's say, or towels, and they're all the same color. So you have, or you have black and blue and red, but you all have different SKUs for those, and that could be how you have things set up right now. Everything's individualized, just like a department store, and that's fine. Magento offers you the ability to do configurable items, so you can have different size, different colors, different styles, and have basically a SKU created on the fly. So it's a unique SKU that gets created. If you have an ERP such as Microsoft GP, you could explode that particular configurable item once it gets into GP. But we'll bring down all that information, that detailed information for you. So when you bring it into your ERP and you're trying to fulfill those orders, you have that detail of the size, color, style, or whatever it may be for that particular configurable item. And really, this is kind of how it breaks it down. So you have item pricing. Configurable items could have attributes, so you could have sizing, you could have color, you could have multiple pricing based on, if it's blue, it may take more of a process in manufacturing, so you might have enough charge. No matter what it is, as long as you have things set up ideally in your ERP the same way, or basically the same way that supports that, then that information coming down will post correctly, and you'll get your invoicing, and the sales orders will be created correctly, and your customer will get the product basically that they ordered. So again, if you're updating, setting this all up in your ERP, you don't have to set it up again in Magento. That's the beauty of our integration. We can send that information up, and you're basically setting it up one time. As you get out of product or change pricing, or let's say the manufacturing process was a bit, became a bit more streamlined, and you could drop your additional cost. Again, you update that in your ERP, and we would update that in the Magento store. The other thing that Magento offers is multiple skins. So you don't have to basically set up separate sites. You don't have to go in, and you definitely can. It doesn't matter to us. But the big advantage to doing multiple skins, different customers could have different looks. Your different products could have different looks, depending on how you set things up. So labeling could change skin to skin. For us, it doesn't matter. You're going to bring in the orders. We can actually split them up per the actual skin name. So if you have, let's say you're selling white T-shirts on one site and then blue T-shirts on the other, and they call it, bluet-shirts.com, whatever it may be, all those orders are going to go into our portal and post into your ERP. And we could post them in different batches depending on your ERP. We could split them out based on the skin it's coming from. So there's quite a few options that we can kind of get into more detail when we get down into the integration. If you're looking at a multiple store setup with Magento, just like any other e-com platform, you can set that up. There'll be separate databases, so you won't necessarily have the advantage of just having one single integration. But we can still bring those orders down into the same ePortal account. So you'll still get your orders posting to the same ePortal account. Everything is consolidated there, so that's the one big advantage. We can separate the store orders again, and then post them to your ERP separately, or together, or however you want. We have a lot of we have a great ability to change things on the fly through what we call business rules, which is probably another webinar topic that we'll get into down the road, and different ways to basically manipulate the data to adhere to how you have things set up going right now on a manual basis, depending on how complex or differently configured your ERP solution is. And that brings me to taxes, discounts, and coupons. So depending on if you have a retail store, we talk a lot about business-to-business or B2C. If you're doing a lot of B2C, you'd have coupons in place or discounts depending on where you are. Tax-wise, if you're sending it to different states, you could be looking at different tax issues. There are add-ons to Magento that allow you to deal with those taxes. No matter what happens, and if you're using different products like Avalara or whatever tax system you might be using, we're going to bring down that information into your ERP. If your ERP calculates it differently, then that's fine. We can have that happen. You can make the adjustment if you need to. So there's options there. For discounts, we can have them applied through the integration or within the ERP. So again, the discount can happen at the store level, or when it comes in, depending on your customer. If it's a B2B site, you could offer the discount based on who the customer is and what they ordered. So just depending on how your back end is configured. And then coupons could be available in your ERP at the detail line level or at the header level, depending on how you want to apply those coupons. They could exist as a line item, as an actual part that goes into your ERP, or it could just be an actual discounted amount that doesn't get brought into your ERP. So again, depending on your integration and your needs, we can configure things to help you out the best. And that leads me to custom fields and processes. So a lot of people that have ERPs will have custom fields, custom processes, different ways they do things. They might want to use the pricing that is in with Magento, or they might want to use the pricing that's in their ERP. No matter what the case, we can definitely do any of those particular needs. We have a standard connector that contains all the fields that are in place with Magento. If you need to add custom fields, or if you have fields that you need to match up in your ERP for whatever reason, it could be something like an additional discount field. Just let us know when we price out the integration for you, and that would help us price out and get the right options for you. Really, when we talk a lot about vanilla plain integration, so that is a standard setup that usually is never the case. So we look at a lot of customizations for integration, whether it be field level, process level. It could be something like I said, pricing changes. It could be, you have 1,000 pounds of coffee, but when you sell it in tins. So how do you deal with that? And there's ways to manipulate the data so that your integration will deal with that, depending if it's the ERP side or the Magento side. But really what we want to look at is your workflow and how we can customize it for you. Work with you on developing our system to match up how you do things today, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. And this really allows you to keep your current process and not have to retrain people, not set new things up. Really we want to make you as comfortable as possible going into an integration so that everybody working on your system understands what's going to happen and how it's going to work. And really what this allows us to do is make things easier for you. The whole idea between the portal and the integrations makes things easier for us. Really the ePortal and the Bridge makes your integration that much easier. We have standard touch points. We've done integrations before with many different ERPs, and even if you start off with a basic sales order touch point, you can add inventory product as your system grows. So you're not like coming in and you have to get everything set up for yourselves right away. You can actually have a situation where you do sales orders and then you come back a month from now or a year from now and add different touch points as your business grows. Updates or changing your system is really effortless because we've standardized everything. If you're upgrading your ERP to the latest version, it becomes a seamless changeover for you. You can add multiple web stores easily. So if you have Magento, but let's say you're going to add an Amazon site or eBay site, we can definitely help you with that, and it'll all go to the same place. And really, we want to really introduce that integrated flow of data to make your strong decisions that much easier. You can think of it, you've had all this investment in your Magento store and time spent, and consultants come in and set this up. You really want to leverage everything and allow your business to prosper and really spend your time on doing your business processes instead of entering orders. And that's why we do what we do here at eBridge. So at this point, what I'll do is kind of open it up to questions. If there's any questions, we can kind of go through them now. If anybody wants to type in some questions. just kind of go through them. I'll just kind of pick a few out that may help. One question is, do you integrate with StoneEdge inventory management system? Yes, I believe so. And even if we don't, we do integrate. We have our own API that you can use to push information into our portal. We also have a SQL connector, so we can connect to a SQL database and pull or push information into that. We can also entertain developing a custom integration. So we would actually build a connector for you, depending on what it could be. So we do have a lot of one-offs and custom work that we do with different ERPs that aren't readily used. Another question that's come in is, do we integrate with Sage X3? Yep, we definitely have some X3 clients we're working with right now, and that's something that will be, all our Sage products will be working with down the road. You know, if it's Stage 100 or 300 or 500, that's not a problem. And another question, any limitations when using QuickBooks integrations? Not really. We do a lot of QuickBooks integrations. It depends on exactly the limitations that you're talking about. If it's parts or order numbers or whatever it may be, you just have to be really specific when you talk to our salespeople to understand what you're kind of referring to. They can help you out, and of course somebody like myself would get involved at the technical level to understand your exact needs. That looks like it's about it. Any other questions we'll take offline and kind of answer them and probably send you an email or somebody will reach out to you for your specific needs. So I'd like to thank everybody from our side, Matt and myself, and for everybody attending the webinar. Hope you have the rest of a good day, and we'll be speaking to you soon.